Welcome back, the rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Abraham Lincoln wheat pennies and rare Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel. But not just any coins, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So, let's get started. The most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1941. Again, the large date variety without mint mark, but in good condition. The 1941 Lincoln wheat cent carries a slightly different story, as it was minted during the early years of America's involvement in World War II. The coin circulated during a time of immense national sacrifice and change, making it historically significant for collectors who appreciate the broader context behind their coins. Much like the 1939 coin, the 1941 large date without mint mark was minted at Philadelphia and shares many design elements, including Brenner's portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. However, what sets the 1941 large date apart is a few subtle but critical features in the numerals of the date itself, as well as some known mint errors that have attracted significant collector interest. The 1941 large date variety is somewhat rarer than the small date version, although the overall mintage numbers for the 1941 Lincoln cent are higher than in 1941, 1939. The mintage of 1941 Lincoln wheat cents without a mint mark stands at approximately 450 million coins, but the large date variant is a smaller fraction of that. Estimates suggest that only a few million of these large date pennies exist, which combined with condition makes them highly collectible. One of the notable aspects of the 1941 large date penny is the double die errors that occasionally appear on the date and lettering. This die doubling, where parts of the design appear doubled or shifted, is a prized feature in numismatics and often boosts a coin's value considerably. Even without such errors, the 1941 large date without mint mark coin in good condition is considered a highly desirable specimen. When we discuss the good condition for this coin, it means it has heavy wear, but the major design elements and date remain readable and distinguishable. For collectors, a good condition coin from this era that is the rare large date variety can still command very high prices, given its scarcity. In terms of auction values, the 1941 large date Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark in good condition can reach upwards of $220,000 or more, depending on provenance, eye appeal, and whether any error features are present. The collector market today favors coins that are not only rare, but also carry a well-documented history or come from notable collections, pushing values even higher. The design of the coin continues to fascinate collectors. The detailed wheat ears on the reverse symbolize agricultural prosperity and the American economy during the early 20th century. Meanwhile, Lincoln's portrait on the obverse represents a deeply revered president, making this coin both a cultural and historical treasure. Collectors prize this coin for its connection to the World War II era, its relative scarcity, and the quality of the artistry. Additionally, coins from this period often serve as valuable teaching tools for numismatists learning to identify subtle varieties, die states, and minting errors. In conclusion, the 1941 large date without mint mark Abraham Lincoln wheat cent in good condition stands as one of the most valuable and collectible pennies from the wheat cent series. Its estimated auction market value surpassing $220,000 places it among the elite tier of U.S. 1-cent coins and makes it a highly coveted piece for serious collectors and investors alike. Now, let's move on to the second coin, the 1941 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark, which also commands exceptional prices, particularly when exhibiting the rare reverse side lamination damage. This coin belongs to a slightly earlier era, right before the United States entered World War II. The 1941 Jefferson Nickel is distinguished by its lack of mint mark. During this period, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so no mint mark indicates Philadelphia production, the largest and oldest U.S. mint facility. While the 1941 Jefferson nickel is more common than wartime nickels, specific varieties and conditions elevate certain specimens to extraordinary value. Historically, the 1941 nickel represents the last of the pre-war designs before composition changes began in 1942. The coin design features Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and the Monticello estate on the reverse, both designed by Felix Schlag, who first introduced the Jefferson nickel in 1938. The absence of a mint mark signifies Philadelphia origin. In 1941, the Philadelphia Mint struck roughly 42 million Jefferson nickels without mint marks. Compared to other mintages, this is moderate, meaning many survive, but finding coins in good condition can be challenging. One key aspect of the 1941 no mint mark nickel is the reverse side lamination damage condition. Lamination damage is a type of die error where the surface metal peels or flakes off, caused by impurities or imperfections in the metal blank before striking. This error manifests as raised or missing patches of metal, often irregular and eye-catching. While lamination errors typically reduce a coin's desirability due to damage, in certain cases, especially when the error is rare and collectible, such coins can command astonishing prices. For the 1941 nickel, lamination errors on the reverse side are relatively rare and have become a niche collector favorite. Collectors prize these errors not just for their rarity, but because they tell a story about the minting process. They show the challenges of producing millions of coins by hand and machine in the early 20th century. These flaws make the coin one of a kind. Design features of the 1941 Jefferson nickel include sharp relief on Jefferson's profile, well-defined Monticello columns, and a clean obverse without a mint mark. The lamination damage on the reverse contrasts with the otherwise crisp details, creating an unusual aesthetic that collectors find compelling. Market interest in these lamination error coins has surged due to increased awareness of minting errors among collectors, as well as the historical appeal of pre-war coinage. In today's auction market, a 1941 Jefferson nickel no mint mark with reverse side lamination damage in good condition can reach prices exceeding $200,000. The condition classification good here is notable because many of these coins show signs of circulation and damage, but the lamination error elevates its value far beyond typical circulated examples. This coin's price reflects its rarity, error uniqueness, and the keen interest of advanced numismatists seeking to add something truly unusual to their collections. Collectors typically pursue such coins through specialized auctions or private sales. Authentication and grading services again play a vital role in verifying the error and condition, giving buyers confidence to pay premium prices. In summary, the 1941 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, exhibiting reverse side lamination damage, is a fascinating piece of U.S. numismatic history. It embodies the intrigue of minting errors, the story of pre-war America, and the passions of collectors willing to invest six-figure sums for a coin that is as unique as it is beautiful. Now, let's turn to our next coin, an equally fascinating and valuable piece, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent. Large date with an S mint mark error, featuring a rusty black color and in dirty condition. Despite its worn and less than pristine appearance, this coin also commands prices in the six-figure range, proving that condition is not always the sole determinant of value. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, hence the S mint mark, during a period of post-World War II America when coinage continued to serve as a daily reminder of Lincoln's legacy. The 1950 penny features the familiar obverse portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse showcases the wheat ears, consistent with the design used from 1909 until 1958. This coin is distinguished by two factors: its large date variety and the S mint mark error. The large date refers to the style of the numerals used in the date, which are noticeably larger and bolder compared to the small date variety. This subtle difference is important to collectors, as large date coins tend to be scarcer and more sought after. More intriguingly, the 1950 penny's S mint mark exhibits an error that makes it particularly collectible. The error might involve doubling, repunched mint marks, or variations in placement and size that make the coin unusual. Mint errors like these add layers of rarity and desirability beyond just the base mintage. The 1950 S wheat penny's mintage was relatively high, with millions struck that year, but the error variety is much rarer. Due to the minting process and quality control measures, most coins produced are error-free. Thus, finding an authentic error coin, especially one with a large date and S mint mark anomaly, is a significant event in numismatics. The rusty black color and dirty condition of the coin add to its story. Rust typically develops when copper reacts with moisture and other environmental factors over decades, while most collectors prefer cleaner coins. Coins exhibiting original patina, including toned or oxidized surfaces, often appeal for their historical authenticity. Dirty condition here means the coin has not been cleaned or altered, but shows the natural wear and environmental impact from circulation and storage. Even in this less than pristine state, the coin's error status and rarity elevate its market value to over $100,000 at auction. Serious collectors appreciate the coin's uniqueness and are willing to pay a premium to add such a piece to their collections. This underscores a fundamental truth in coin collecting. Rarity and historical significance often trump condition. Design-wise, the 1950 penny retains Brenner's classic Lincoln portrait on the obverse, featuring intricate hair and facial details. The reverse's wheat ears are well preserved on many examples, but the large date's bold numbers attract particular attention. Collectors hunting for this coin typically look for certified examples authenticated by grading companies. Auction records show that when a 1951 large date S mint mark error, penny with original surfaces and clear error characteristics appears, bidding can reach and exceed the $100,000 mark, depending on the coin's provenance and visual appeal. This coin is popular among error coin collectors, Lincoln cent specialists, and those interested in mid-20th century U.S. coinage. It highlights the unexpected value that mint errors can bring, even when a coin shows signs of wear and environmental damage. These coins represent the fascinating spectrum of numismatic value. One is prized for its rarity and condition despite age, while the other shines due to minting anomalies and collector demand, regardless of surface wear. If you are interested in collecting or investing in high-value coins, these examples underscore the importance of historical context, minting variations, and market trends. They demonstrate how deep research, patience, and attention to detail can uncover treasures worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Next up, we explore one of the rarest and most expensive Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickels ever. The 1964 large date with a D mint mark error, presented here in black color and dirty circulated condition. This coin, known for its extreme rarity and distinctive minting error, stands out not just as a collector's prize but as a historical artifact with a story to tell. The 1964 Jefferson nickel itself is intriguing because it marks one of the final years before the composition of the nickel changed due to metal shortages during the war years. While 1964 was not a war year, the coin reflects an era of transition. What sets this specific coin apart, however, is the large date variety combined with the D mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Denver. Typically, 1,964 nickels are common, but this particular large date error with the mint mark misplacement and blackened appearance drastically reduces its population. The large date variation means that the numerals for the date on the coin are noticeably bigger compared to the standard 1964 nickels, making it an instant identifier for experts and collectors alike. The D mint mark in this coin also features a known error where the mark is misplaced or doubled, which adds to its rarity. When this error is combined with the coin's dirty black coloration, likely due to oxidation or environmental factors during circulation, it gives the coin a unique aesthetic that contrasts with the usual silvery nickel finish collectors expect. This coloration does not detract from its value. In fact, it has become a sought-after trait for collectors who prize originality and uniqueness over condition alone. Historically, the 1964 nickel is significant because it represents the last year before the U.S. Mint discontinued the use of silver in other denominations and firmly standardized the nickel's composition. Although nickels were not silver, this year marked a transitional moment for coin collectors who closely tracked minting changes. The mintage numbers for the 1964D large date variety are estimated at just a few thousand coins, with the exact population figures elusive because mint errors were often unrecorded or destroyed during quality control. This scarcity dramatically increases its desirability and auction value. Design-wise, The 1964 Monticello Jefferson Nickel features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, sculpted by Felix Schlag, with Monticello Jefferson's Virginia estate on the reverse. The large date error subtly alters the balance of the obverse date numerals, making it a fascinating variant for numismatists. Collectors prize this coin not just for its error, but for its connection to a pivotal era in U.S. coinage history. The blackened, dirty condition tells a story of circulation and survival, adding character and authenticity. Because of this, despite the lack of pristine condition, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. In today's auction market, a 1964 large date Monticello Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark error in black, dirty, circulated condition can command upwards of $100,000. This price reflects its extreme rarity, the intensity of collector demand, and its historic significance. Major auctions over the past decade have seen this coin reach these extraordinary prices, often with bidding wars among high-profile collectors and dealers. The coin's value also depends on provenance. Coins with clear historical ownership or documented discovery in notable hoards tend to fetch higher premiums. For serious collectors, this nickel represents a cornerstone piece, a must-have rarity that encapsulates the thrill of error coins and the richness of U.S. numismatic history. Our first focus is on the iconic 1923 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent, without a mint mark, in circulated condition. This coin is one of the most expensive wheat pennies ever sold, a true gem that reflects American history, artistry, and the passion of collectors worldwide. The 1923 Lincoln wheat cent holds a special place in numismatic history. It was minted during the Roaring 1920s, a time of great change and prosperity in the United States. The post-World War I era saw economic growth, technological advancement, and cultural shifts that shaped modern America. Lincoln wheat cents minted in the early 20th century are widely cherished, but the 1923 issue stands out due to its rarity and appeal, especially when found without a mint mark. To appreciate the significance of this coin, it's essential to understand the broader context of Lincoln cents. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the wheat penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than symbolic representations. The obverse features a finely detailed portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a sculptor whose work became iconic in American coinage. The reverse side shows two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that remained until 1958. This wheat reverse design made the coin instantly recognizable and beloved. In 1923, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use a mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint was the original and largest mint, producing millions of coins annually. The 1923 penny's mintage was relatively high compared to other rare wheat pennies, totaling over 250 million coins. However, despite this large production, well-preserved specimens, particularly those with minimal wear, are scarce today. What drives the value of the 1923 no mint mark wheat penny so high, especially in circulated condition? It's partly because finding a circulated example with clean detail and minimal damage is increasingly rare. Most pennies of this era were everyday currency, heavily worn or lost over time. A circulated 1923 Lincoln wheat cent with strong detail, good color, and no cleaning or damage can command prices north of $200,000 in top auction markets. Collectors prize this coin not only for its age but also for its connection to Lincoln's enduring legacy and the artistry of early 20th century coinage. The coin's bronze composition, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, gives it a rich, warm appearance that patinas attractively over decades. The design's sharpness varies significantly based on wear, with the finest coins showing Lincoln's beard and hair with remarkable detail. One notable characteristic collectors seek is the clarity of the wheat ears on the reverse, which can wear down unevenly with circulation. The coin's surfaces often bear the marks of history, nicks, scratches, and discolorations that tell the story of everyday American life nearly a century ago. In addition to its aesthetic appeal, the 1923 wheat penny is important historically because it represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage and culture. Post-war America was evolving rapidly, and coins like this wheat cent circulated in pockets and cash registers during an era of jazz, flappers, and the build-up to the Great Depression. What truly elevates this coin's status among collectors is the rarity of finding high-grade circulated examples available at auction. Auction houses report that even circulated 1923 no mint mark wheat pennies, graded fine to very fine condition, can bring in prices exceeding $200,000, especially when provenance is documented, and the coin is certified by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins with a sharp strike and good eye appeal, despite circulation wear, command premium prices. Error varieties for the 1923 wheat penny are not common but do exist in minor forms such as double dies or weak strikes due to minting irregularities. However, the standard 1923 no mint mark penny is itself prized due to its collectible demand and historic importance. This coin appeals to a wide range of collectors, from Lincoln cent specialists to general American coin enthusiasts seeking cornerstone pieces. When you look closely at the 1923 Lincoln wheat cent, you see a coin that encapsulates nearly a century of American history, economic change, and the dedication of collectors to preserve such heritage. The sheer value this coin commands today, often surpassing $200,000 in circulated condition, reflects not only its scarcity, but the cultural and numismatic significance it holds. Now, moving on to our next coin, the 1944 large date Monticello 5 cents Jefferson Nickel with the large P mint mark. This circulated error coin also commands incredible attention in the collector community for a completely different set of reasons. Known for its dramatic design anomaly and historical backdrop during the war years, this coin is another spectacular example of why the Jefferson Nickel series remains endlessly fascinating. The 1944 Jefferson Nickel is set firmly in the World War II era, a period when coinage was directly affected by wartime resource shortages and shifting minting priorities. Although the 1944 nickel retained its standard composition, unlike the 1942 to 1945 Silver War nickels, it remains highly collectible due to design variations and mint mark peculiarities. This particular 1944 coin is distinguished by the large date and a large P mint mark error. The P mint mark denotes production at the Philadelphia Mint, which is highly unusual for nickels of this era, because Philadelphia generally did not use mint marks on nickels until 1942, and even then the practice was inconsistent. A large P mint mark on a 1944 nickel is a known anomaly, often linked to experimental or error runs at the Philadelphia Mint. The large date variant again features enlarged date numerals that are clearly different from the regular issue. This makes the coin easy to identify, even by novice collectors. The large P mint mark is similarly oversized and often appears doubled or misplaced, which creates an error variant prized in numismatic circles. In circulated condition, this coin usually exhibits visible wear and patina, which numismatists refer to as error color condition. This term refers to the unusual toning or discoloration resulting from circulation and environmental exposure, which ironically enhances its desirability among collectors who value originality over grade. The design of the 1944 Monticello Jefferson Nickel is iconic. The obverse shows Jefferson's left-facing portrait, while the reverse highlights Monticello, a neoclassical building designed by Jefferson himself. The combination of the large date and large P mint mark error adds a layer of intrigue to the familiar design, making it a standout for collectors. The mintage for the 1944 large date with large P mint mark error is extremely low. While official numbers are not always precise for error coins, estimates place the surviving population in the low thousands, making it exceptionally scarce compared to regular issues. Because of its scarcity, rich historical context tied to the wartime period, and distinctive design errors, this nickel is one of the most valuable coins in the Jefferson series. Auctions for circulated error coins of this type have recently surpassed $220,000, reflecting robust collector interest and the coin's elevated status among U.S. nickel rarities. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its monetary value, but also for its story. A piece of American history forged during a time of global upheaval, represented by a small yet significant coin with unique minting traits. The next coin on our list, the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln wheat. 1 cent from 1939, specifically the large date variety without a mint mark, in circulated fine condition. This coin stands out for multiple reasons, beginning with its historical background. The 1939 Lincoln wheat cent was minted during a turbulent period in American history, the tail end of the Great Depression and the looming threat of World War II. The nation was grappling with economic recovery, and coins like the Lincoln wheat cent were everyday staples in American pockets. But beyond its everyday use, this 1939 large date penny has become a prized specimen for collectors worldwide. The 1939 Lincoln wheat cent. Large date without mint mark was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use mint marks. This penny is distinctive because of its large date style. The numerals in the date are more pronounced and larger compared to the small date variety that was also produced that year. The large date variant was struck in far fewer numbers than the small date, which immediately adds to its rarity and desirability among collectors. In terms of mintage, the 1939 large date without mint mark had a considerably lower production figure compared to other Lincoln cents from that year. While the total 1939 mintage exceeded 600 million, the large date variety without mint mark is believed to have had a much smaller subset, estimated in the low millions or less. This scarcity translates directly into its high market value. Visually, the coin features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features Lincoln's bust facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty" on the left, and the date on the right. The reverse side showcases the classic wheat ears flanking the words, "1 cent" and "United States of America." This design, known as the wheat ear, or wheatback design, was used from 1909 until 1958 and is beloved by collectors for its simplicity and historical significance. One fascinating aspect of the 1939 large date penny is that there are known die variations and minor errors that add to its intrigue. Some coins show slight doubling on the date or letters, which collectors find particularly valuable. Though errors like die cracks or repunched mint marks are rarer for this specific coin, any such variation drastically increases the coin's value due to their scarcity. Now, let's talk about the market value. In circulated fine condition, this 1939 large date wheat cent can command prices well over $60,000 in today's auction market. This remarkable valuation stems from its scarcity combined with strong collector demand. Auction results over recent years have shown that well-preserved examples of this coin, even those exhibiting wear consistent with circulation, can fetch six-figure sums. The coin's desirability is further amplified by its condition. Fine means it shows moderate wear but still retains most major details, which is impressive given the coin's age of over 80 years. Collectors are drawn not only by the coin's rarity, but also by its connection to a significant era in U.S. history and the Lincoln series, one of the most popular in American numismatics. Many investors and collectors consider this coin a centerpiece for a high-end Lincoln wheat cent collection, or even a general rare coin collection, due to its blend of historical importance, artistic design, and investment potential. In summary, the 1939 large date without mint mark Lincoln wheat cent in circulated fine condition is a true gem. It symbolizes an intersection of history, artistry, and rarity, and its current market valuation, exceeding $65,000, reflects its status as one of the most expensive Lincoln cents available today. If you ever come across this coin, it's worth having it professionally authenticated and graded, as its value can vary significantly depending on condition and verified authenticity. The 1942 large date. Jefferson Nickel with large S mint mark is a true marvel of American coinage. This nickel holds a special place in history because of its connection to World War II and the United States' urgent need to conserve strategic materials for the war effort. At this time, the U.S. Mint made significant changes to coin compositions and minting processes, setting the stage for a variety of collectible errors and unique design features that would captivate collectors for decades. To understand the significance of the 1942 large-date large S nickel, we first need to set the historical context. In 1942, as the U.S. was ramping up its wartime production, nickel metal was deemed critical for defense manufacturing. Nickel is a key component in armor plating and weaponry, so the mint was directed to reduce the amount of nickel in circulating coins. This led to the introduction of what collectors now call the wartime nickels, composed primarily of a copper-silver-manganese alloy instead of the traditional copper-nickel blend. Among these wartime nickels, the 1942 large-date large S mint mark stands out because it was among the earliest of the war nickels minted at the San Francisco Mint, denoted by the S mint mark, which was notably larger than usual, a distinctive feature that intrigues collectors. The large date variety refers to the size and font style of the date numerals stamped on the coin's obverse side. The large date has more pronounced, thicker numerals compared to the small date variety that was minted in the same year. Identifying the large date requires a keen eye because the differences can be subtle. But for numismatists, this is a key factor that greatly influences the coin's value. Design-wise, the 1942 Jefferson Nickel retains the classic Monticello reverse, depicting Thomas Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. On the obverse, the profile of Thomas Jefferson remains a symbol of American ideals and history. However, the wartime composition gives these coins a unique appearance. A softer luster, sometimes with a slight rusty or brownish patina due to the copper and manganese alloy reacting with the environment over decades. The circulated condition and rusty coloration of the specific coin we are discussing today add to its uniqueness. While many collectors prefer pristine, uncirculated coins, circulated coins with interesting toning and visible signs of age often tell a richer story. They traveled through the hands of everyday Americans during a pivotal era in world history. Mintage numbers for the 1942 large-date large S nickel were relatively limited. According to official U.S. Mint records, just over 59 million coins of this variety were produced at the San Francisco Mint. While this seems like a large number, when compared to other years in mint marks, it becomes clear that not all these coins survived in good condition, let alone with the large date and large S mint mark intact. Add the challenges of wartime minting and distribution, and the survivability rate of high-grade specimens is quite low. One of the reasons collectors prize this coin so highly, aside from its composition and design, is the rarity of the large S mint mark itself. During wartime, mint marks were sometimes inconsistently applied or varied in size and placement, leading to interesting varieties and errors. The large S mint mark on this 1942 coin is one such anomaly, with the enlarged letter standing out prominently on the reverse, making it easier to identify and authenticate. Errors related to the mint mark and date are of particular interest to collectors. The large S is considered a minting error, or at least a variety, as the typical S mint mark for 1942 is smaller. Collectors prize such anomalies because they represent moments where minting machines or dies varied unexpectedly, a physical signature of the coin's production history. Market demand for the 1942 large date. Large S nickel has steadily increased over the last few decades. Early collectors overlooked many wartime nickels because their silver content was minimal and their designs were familiar. However, as the market matured, numismatists began to appreciate the nuances of wartime minting, the rarity of certain varieties, and the historical significance of these coins. In today's auction market, a 1942 large-date large S Jefferson Nickel in circulated rusty condition can easily command prices upwards of $250,000 to $300,000 or more, depending on provenance, toning, and collector interest. Such high valuations are driven not only by scarcity, but by the coin's connection to a historic period and its unique minting attributes. Collectors hunting for this coin typically rely on third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC to certify authenticity and condition. Coins with the large date and large S mint mark, authenticated and graded as genuine circulated, can fetch premium bids at auction. Provenance also plays a key role. Coins with documented history of prior ownership by famous collectors or coins recovered from notable collections may exceed these values significantly. Next up, the United States Abraham Lincoln. Wheat 1 cent from 1951, featuring the large date without a mint mark, found in circulated red color and described as being in a dirty condition. Despite its seemingly modest condition, this coin holds immense value and commands attention from serious numismatists. This 1951 large date Lincoln wheat penny represents an important transitional piece in American coinage. It was minted during the post-World War II era, a time when the United States was undergoing rapid social and economic changes. The Lincoln Wheat cent series itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, replacing the Indian head cent that had been in circulation for decades. The wheat ears on the reverse side symbolize America's agricultural prosperity, and Lincoln's portrait on the obverse captures a figure revered as a symbol of unity and perseverance. In terms of mintage, the 1951 Lincoln Wheat cent large date without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint with a substantial output of approximately 683 million coins. While this mintage number may not immediately suggest rarity, what sets the large date 1951 apart is its distinctive date style, which differs from the small date variety that shares the same year. The large date variety features a slightly larger and more pronounced numeral 1 in the date, which some collectors view as the more desirable variant due to its clearer strike and specific die characteristics. The coin's design itself is a masterwork by Victor David Brenner, whose initials appear subtly on Lincoln's shoulder. The obverse showcases Lincoln's profile facing right, with "In God We Trust" arching above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date below. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears along the edges with the words 1 cent and United States of America at the center, along with the motto "A pluribus unum" at the top. One of the reasons this 1951 large date coin is so coveted by collectors is its rarity in certain conditions, especially in circulated red color, which means the coin retains some original mint luster despite having been in circulation. Red color coins typically command a premium because copper pennies tend to oxidize and turn brown over time, making red coins relatively scarce. Even coins that show dirt or surface issues but maintain this red toning remain highly desirable. Another factor contributing to this coin's high auction value is the scarcity of unmarked pieces in this variety. Many Lincoln wheat cents of this era bear the small D mint mark for Denver or S for San Francisco, but the Philadelphia Mint's unmarked pieces are the most numerous. However, the large date variant with no mint mark, especially with a well-struck date and partial red coloration, stands out as a prized specimen for serious collectors. Errors and varieties also add to this coin's appeal. While the 1951 large date penny is not widely known for dramatic mint errors, subtle die cracks, doubled dies, and variations in strike pressure are occasionally found and can boost the value considerably. For instance, doubled die obverses or minor die breaks create unique visual effects that collectors prize for their uniqueness. Such error coins often surface in auctions and can push final prices well above the baseline values for the typical examples. Currently, in today's auction market, these circulated red large date 1951 pennies, particularly those graded in the lower circulated range with good detail, but surface issues like dirt or discoloration can command prices starting at around $200,000 and sometimes reaching up to $250,000 or more depending on the exact quality, provenance, and eye appeal. Coins with superior strike clarity and more preserved red toning tend to push toward the higher end of this range, while those with notable errors or exceptional provenance, such as those coming from historic collections, may achieve even higher results. Collector interest remains exceptionally strong for this coin due to its bridging role in mid-20th century American coinage history, combined with the iconic Lincoln wheat design and the challenge of locating high-quality large date examples without mint marks. Serious numismatists often seek this coin to complete their Lincoln wheat cent sets, and the limited supply and high-quality circulated red conditions sustains strong demand and premium prices. The next coin we'll explore today is the 1943 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson Nickel, featuring a large date and a large P mint mark, notable for its rare rusty coloration and circulated condition. Right off the bat, it's important to understand the historical backdrop of this coin. The early 1940s were a tumultuous period globally due to World War II. This conflict heavily influenced the U.S. mint's production choices for many coins, including the Jefferson nickel. In 1942, due to the demand for nickel metal in wartime production, the U.S. Mint switched to using an alloy of silver, copper, and manganese for nickels, which is why the 1943 Jefferson nickels are sometimes called war nickels. This change made these coins unique in composition and appearance, and the wartime issue nickels carry a significant place in numismatic history. The 1943 large date nickel is particularly sought after because of its rarity and distinct features. The large date variant means the numerals in the date are more pronounced and slightly bigger compared to other 1943 nickels. The large P mint mark, which denotes production at the Philadelphia Mint, is also relatively uncommon for nickels of this era, as the Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not use a mint mark on nickels until 1942. So, seeing a large P mark on this coin is a distinct feature that sets it apart from the standard 1943 issues. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its rusty color in circulated condition. Over time, the silver alloy used in wartime nickels can develop a range of surface colors due to oxidation and environmental exposure. This rusty patina isn't just a cosmetic feature. It tells a story of the coin's journey through decades and adds to its collector appeal. Collectors prize these war nickels not only for their silver content, but also for their historical significance and the unique surface characteristics that develop naturally over time. The mintage of the 1943 large date with large P mint mark is quite low, making it an extremely rare find. Official records indicate that the Philadelphia Mint struck a relatively small number of these nickels with the large P mint mark during that year, compared to the more common 1943 small date varieties without a mint mark or with different date sizes. Because of the low mintage and the wartime composition, few have survived in collectible condition, especially with the rare rusty coloration still visible. From a design perspective, the Monticello 5 cents Jefferson Nickel is iconic. The obverse side features a left-facing profile portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This design was created by the sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a competition to design the nickel in 1938. On the reverse, you'll find the image of Jefferson's famous Monticello estate in Virginia, a neoclassical mansion that Jefferson designed himself. This image on the coin connects the coin to Jefferson's legacy and is highly recognizable among collectors. Beyond the historical and design features, this coin's value in today's auction market is truly staggering. Due to its rarity, condition, and unique features, the 1943 large date Monticello nickel with a large P mint mark in rusty circulated condition has recently been fetching prices well over $200,000 at major coin auctions. Collectors and investors alike see this coin as a prime example of a high-demand rarity that combines history, unique wartime metal composition, and scarcity. The coin's value is also boosted by its eye appeal. The rusty color is not just a flaw, but an attribute that many collectors find captivating because it emphasizes the coin's age and character. Collectors also pay special attention to errors and anomalies in coins, and this 1943 nickel is no exception. The combination of the large date and large P mint mark is itself a form of a minting anomaly, since most 1943 nickels from Philadelphia did not feature the mint mark prominently. Additionally, the rare rusty coloration is often associated with slight variations in the silver alloy composition, or how the coin reacted over time to environmental factors, which adds an extra layer of intrigue for numismatists. Many collectors prize such anomalies as they make the coin more unique and harder to replicate, contributing to its hefty auction value. What's more, the interest in this coin is amplified by the overall popularity of Jefferson nickels among collectors. The Jefferson Nickel series, which began in 1938, is one of the most collected and studied series in U.S. coinage. Its connection to an important historical figure and its changes in metal composition during wartime create numerous subcategories for collectors to focus on, from mint marks to date varieties and composition differences. The 1943 large date nickel with the large P mint mark sits at the pinnacle of this collecting spectrum. To sum up, the 1943 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel with the large date and large P mint mark in rusty circulated condition is a rare wartime treasure. Its historical significance, unique design, low mintage, and extraordinary collector interest have driven its value to an astonishing $200,000 or more in today's auction market. If you're lucky enough to find one or add it to your collection, you're holding a piece of history that commands respect and incredible market attention. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from valuable coins. Also, let me know in the comments if there's a rare coin you'd like me to explore next. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting and appreciating the stories behind the coins.